I would suggest that he successfully, through his authors and his own intellectual contribution, shifted the fulcrum of the assumption of the post-war economic consensus that governments knew best and that governments could be relied upon to deliver for the people all services, be it the trains, be it energy, all those sectors of industry which of course were originally state-owned.
Arthur's value as the editorial director of the Institute of Economic Affairs was that he was in touch with a vast range of economists thinking different things from different parts of the economic landscape. And he managed to get these economists who normally put a lot of value on talking as obscurely as they can and writing as impenetrably as they can. He managed to persuade them, in his phrase, he used to say, explain it as you'd explain it to your spouse over the cornflakes. And most of them say, I see what you mean. And they'd go away and they'd write another paper which is just as thick as the and so it went back again. And by dint of working with each author, iteratively, again and again and again, eventually you'd arrive at a paper that you could pick up and was more or less clear.
If my father was alive today, I think he would look at the political landscape and perhaps not see the number of intellectual giants that we had in the 80s, 70s and 80s. Politics seems to be a much more pragmatic business nowadays, and I think he'd want to see a more rigorous agenda being applied to remind politicians and the voters that relying on the state is not a good idea.
Many people think that Arthur Seldon was a visionary. He was indeed a visionary, but I think his greatest contribution for the future was in setting the template for organisations which emulate the Institute of Economic Affairs. There are now 450 plus such organisations around the world, some of them very large, some very small, operating in 94 countries. And they all are working along the lines that Arthur taught us, which is to take the work of academics who are researching market solutions to economic and social problems and making available to the laymen so that in the end it can change public opinion in favour of freedom. That, I think, was his greatest contribution.